welcome to another episode of Cavs Daily. I'm your host, Paul Williams. Appreciate you being here as always, your one stop shop to get everything Cleveland Cavalier related, the good, the bad, the ugly. We will talk about it here, and we will start with a little bit of uh, what some may consider ugly as. Of late, it feels like Cavs all-star point guard Darius Garland, and not just of late, but throughout his year, has always seemed to catch a lot of slander, a lot of blame for some of the Cavs' shortcomings, and honestly, some of it is deserving. When he's right and he's clicking on all cylinders, healthy and confident, he can be a dynamic playmaker that can also drop 30 any game. He's one of the best young point guards in the league still. He's only 25 years old, will play half the season at the age 25. So while it seems like he's been around a while, and he has, he's still growing and getting better every year. This last year, he made his second All-Star game on the back of averaging nearly 21 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds on great efficiency, 47% from the field, close to 40% from, or no, 40% from 3-point line. And he's always been an efficient scorer. That's never been a problem. He's one of the best free throw shooters in the league. And those are a lot of the positives about Darius Garland and what has made him an all-star twice already. But the negatives and what a lot of the slander is driven by comes from health issues. It seems like he's unhealthy at the worst moments, and when he does try to play through any type of injury, you can really tell it's affecting him out there. That's been the case numerous times now, including in this most recent playoffs just a couple months ago. He was clearly not himself, and as we talked about it episodes earlier, but his defense is always going to be something that's sort of a problem, and teams are going to try to isolate and take advantage of that. When he's at full health, he can scramble and play scrappy enough where it's passable when you add in the offense that he brings. But when he's hobbled at all, especially in the playoffs, when it's really a half-court game and other teams are focusing in on any piece, any way that they can take advantage of you, that they're going to take advantage of Darius Garland, and they have done that. So I think that's the biggest reasons why there is a lot of doubt in some camps about Darius Garland and what he can be for a contending team. I personally think he is still the perfect fit here with Cleveland, with the core that they do have. I've seen some reports and some mock trades that are just totally disrespectful to Darius Garland. One of them was a three-team trade where Darius ends up in Toronto, and the Cavs get Dylan Brooks and a few fillers for Darius Garland and another piece, I believe. There is another article released talking about Darius Garland being, if he's a piece of a trade, it'll be more of a salary dump for the other team. And I don't see that. I don't think his value has tanked that much. I still do think any team in the league would love to have a dynamic, young, and still growing point guard like Darius Garland. But he does have a lot of doubters, and I guess rightfully so in some aspects. But people are also sometimes, I think, a bit hard on him. And there's been other, I guess, trades thrown out there that seem to always mention Darius Garland. One of them was something that caught, I'm sure, a lot of people's attention as Yahoo released a mock trade that involved Darius Garland going to the Lakers for LeBron James and Bronny James. Max Strus was also involved in that deal, as well as a first-round pick going from the Cavs to the Lakers. That, I mean, says a lot more about Darius Garland and clearly shows a different opinion of him Even if it's not the same LeBron of 5, 10, 15, I guess now you could say 20 years ago, uh, being traded basically straight up for LeBron James is still, uh, it says a lot. It's much more than a salary dump, that's for sure. And I mean, I even if it's not realistic, just for it to be floated out there like that from a reputable source, it says a lot about Darius Garland and I guess the value of LeBron James at the moment. Also, to some people around the league, obviously these aren't the end all be alls of where the players really stand in the eyes of other teams or other GMs, but it is still interesting to sometime kind of dissect what you're hearing, what you're seeing out there. And honestly, I don't know how I'd feel about a Darius Garland for a LeBron James trade, even if it was somehow realistic. I believe a third team would need to be involved to make it actually happen on paper and in real life, but it's not something that you can just write off right away. But it's also not something that I would jump into right away either. Garland is, like I said, only 25 years old, still under contract for a few years. LeBron, if the Cavs got him, you'd hope for maybe 2 more years out of him playing at a pretty high level. And you just have to be ready for retirement at any time. Don't think he would come here and retire right away, but you never know how 1 or 2 more seasons could affect someone already well into their 40s. So if you don't get a championship with LeBron, the year that you trade for him at this point, you're giving away a very key young asset, and it will set you back in the long run. So it's more of a right now play. Maybe if the Cavs scuffled out the gate, kind of like we talked about yesterday, or if there were just things that weren't meshing with the guard play between Donovan and Darius, things of that nature. Who knows? Maybe an idea like this or something similar could come up, and I guess you'd have to explore it. But if we're trading Darius Garland, I would like it to be for someone that could possibly be with the Cavs for at least the foreseeable future, as I still do see us contending for a long time, even if we do have to shuffle some things around. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting to read about and think about Darius Garland for LeBron trade and if it could even be realistic. But um, I don't know if I'd do it for sure if I was either side. And I don't think that's something that's ever going to come into play. What will come into play for sure is the Cavs are going to have a starting small forward this season. Um, most think it'll probably be Max Strus, and from all indications, that is the case. But DeAndre Hunter is also a very dynamic player that the Cavs traded for, gave up assets for just about 5, 6 months ago. He's shown he could score in bunches. He was averaging nearly 19 points for the Hawks before he was traded to the Cavs. He did come off the bench some for the Hawks, but he did also start many years of his career there in Atlanta. Both Max Strus and DeAndre Hunter are 6-year veterans now in the NBA. They came in at the same time. Hunter had a quicker impact as he was a key player for the Hawks from his rookie season on. Besides dealing with injuries, he was a key cog to the young Hawks teams that made runs in 2021 and so on. Strus had to work his way up, but became a huge part of the Miami success they had with Jimmy Butler a couple years ago when they made their run to the finals. Strus was a major part of that, and since he's came to the Cavs, he's earned that starting role in my eyes. While DeAndre Hunter might be he definitely is a better scorer overall and maybe a bigger name overall. I think Max does everything the Cavs need him to do. He's really gritty and shows up in the big moments and always does the little things that aren't going to be in the box score and the Cavs need that with so many scorers and other dynamic players usually on the court in the starting five. So I really hope and think that Max will continue to start, and I think it's best overall for the Cavs. I feel like, especially with Lonzo Ball now, most likely guiding the second unit, Hunter will play better off of him. He'll get more open shots as DeAndre Hunter, I guess, can find shots for himself and create for himself and others a little bit, but that's not really his game. If he could play with someone like Lonzo Ball and get spot up open looks, I think he's going to be very dangerous. Meanwhile, Strus could play mostly with the starting lineup and just do all the little things and knock down the open threes he's going to get just because of all the defensive coverage and the defensive attention that a Donovan or a Darius or a Evan Mobley will draw. So I think things will stay the same. We saw him for most of the back half of last year, even after Hunter came here via trade. But that is, if there is a battle going into the Cavs season, it definitely is that small fort between those two. And yeah, either way, those are two great pieces for the Cavs, and I think they fit perfect on both units going into this season. But speaking of who's going to start, who might not start, that could ultimately not matter early in the year because with the expectations going into this year for this Cavs core, I do feel like Kenny Atkinson is not going to wait around very long to make any moves he deems necessary, whether it's just a small move here or there with a guy getting a couple extra minutes off the bench, or if it's changing, putting Hunter in the starting lineup for Strus, or who knows, maybe really getting crazy and doing something with Jared Allen coming off the bench, maybe if him and Mobley just aren't playing as well together. It will be interesting to see how much Kenny Atkinson is willing to test things and experiment this year with what I feel is the higher expectations in comparison to when he came in last year. Last year, I don't think, well, I know that the Cavs weren't considered the favorite in the East or really even one of the main threats in the East. This year, the Cavs are pretty much looked at as they need to and have to win the East. A lot of people are saying it's finals or bust. Don't know if I'll go that far, but I do know that there is a different pressure going into a season as someone that's so heavily favored to make the finals. So look for Kenny Atkinson to be very willing to shake things up. I think he'll be, especially early in the year, very eager to give different guys shots off the bench to see what he really has for when we get to the stretch run and it matters the most. That always comes in handy, even if it might not seem like it in the moment. So it'll be interesting to see how Kenny Atkinson approaches this year. Hopefully, everything just runs smoothly and the Cavs coast to another Eastern Conference title and finish that off in the playoffs, obviously. But either way, no matter what happens, I bet you hear about it right here on Cavs Daily with Paul Williams. Thank you for joining me. If you're still here, you might as well subscribe, hit the like button. I will be back tomorrow with another one. And till then, have a great day.